Hi guys, welcome to your daily brain bites. And I've decided I'm not going to sit at my table today. I'm going to stay on the couch. So there you go. So you got a different view today. I'm Ella Bates. This is your daily brain bites where we look at what to learn and how to learn. And today's focus is about pen and paper being king. Pen and paper being key. So first thing to know is that writing absolutely boosts your memory recollection. How does it do that? Well, when you are listening to something, you're taking it in, you're considering things, but when you are writing it, you are actually starting to take action. And the creative format creates a whole different cognitive process. What is cognitive? Cognitive basically means in your brain, how it's processing that information. It allows you to process it and to actually think and critically analyze at the same time as writing it, which is why typing is totally different than writing. Okay, would you agree that typing sometimes does look like you're playing the piano, right? My grandma used to say to me, it looks like I'm playing the piano. Whereas writing is very, very creative, very, very creative. Hands up for those people who are watching live, pop in the comments there, who likes to type out their notes versus those that really like to write out the notes. I'd love to hear from you guys. So here, do you type? If you're a typist, it doesn't mean you have to stop. But what is really, really important is if you take, your iPad into a learning session or a conference or your laptop, a couple of things happen. First of all, it's very, very distracting for the people next to you. There's actually nothing worse than a click, 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 click when you're trying to actively listen to somebody. Although I have seen people with pens who go, please don't do that. So for those that type, the reason why they say that pen and paper is king is the very fact that those that type are trying to capture the transcript of what's been said as opposed to taking the notes. So what do I mean by that? So when you're listening to information, you think, oh, that's super useful to me. I want to be able to write all this down so I don't forget it, which is why we all generally take notes unless you are actually sharing with the community afterwards. You are more likely when you are writing to listen out for things because we're a bit slower. In fact, we are slower at writing than we are at typing right now as a result of the technology increase. So as you are writing your notes, you're more likely to take only the things that are really important to you and summarize and paraphrase it. Whereas when you are typing onto a laptop, an iPad, or even some people on their notes on their phones, I've seen a lot of millennials especially do this, and which makes sense because you've been exposed to this technology as a habit from a study perspective, is what happens is you just transcribe the information. You just take all the information in and you type it out. You often miss out on really important things. You're not paraphrasing it. You're not phrasing it into your own words. When you put it into your own words and you then read back, you actually hear it in your own voice as opposed to the speaker, which is more important for retaining that information. So we are more, and the word is the syntax. We're trying to get hold of the syntax when we're typing, whereas creatively when we're writing, it puts into action your brain to be able to retain the information. Absolutely fact. Let's take a look at the comments. If I am studying, writing is better for me. I can see the writing when trying to recall information. Yay! Thank you so much for sharing that. And I got a suspicion that that's Tanya, who I was just talking to a few days ago. If it is, hi, Tanya. If I'm wrong, you can tell me who you are. But you're right. For those people who are visual, 94% of us are predominantly visual, believe it or not. Although you might have an inkling with certain learning to look for more hands-on doing it or audio, a lot of the time we are very visual, which means that we recollect, like the Facebook user has just said there, the actual picture of where you've written. So how you've written it, whether you've done, lines and arrows or bullet points and things like that. So that's really interesting. So thank you so much for sharing that. That's kind of neat. A different cognitive process we've already talked about. Haha. Now, from a studying perspective, if you are a student, of which we all are when we're learning, whether that's picking up a book and wanting to read about a particular topic, or maybe that is picking something up and wanting to learn it, maybe that's learning the guitar, for example. So we have conceptual and we have factual. So what even is this? This is types of information that's thrown at you from a learning perspective. Conceptual means, are you actually having to learn a process? Are you going to have to do some thinking about how it relates to you, right? How it relates to your behaviors, your attitudes, what you do, how you do things? Or is factual just a recollection tool? So some people, they argue that our current education system is just a factual recollection tool, which to a certain degree, it really, really is. And that's a whole other conversation right there. I'd love to know your thoughts about it. So when learning maths, are you actually sat there thinking, how can I apply this in my future life? Are the teachers actually explaining how it's conceptual, or are they just saying it's fact? A plus B equals C. Is that just fact? Or how do you put this into an engineering process, a project management process, a chemistry process, right? Are we looking at it conceptually? So when you are actually writing notes out, you are more likely to retain the information if you are learning something conceptually, because at the same time as writing, you are critically thinking about the information. If you are simply writing down dates, data, just information, like, I don't know, formulas in Excel, dates for history, things like that, and it's just data driven, then typing is okay. And I'm not saying typing isn't okay, but I want you to know that writing it by hand is king for memory recollection. They have not created technology that can outdo the pen and the paper, specifically for conceptual. So do consider what it is that you're learning. If you're just wanting to memorize it so you can be verbatim about it when you're talking about it, then just go ahead and type it. If you're wanting to think about it, critically analyze it, think about how it applies to you, you're going to want to get the pen and paper out. Very, very important. What's the next one here? Thinking. So whilst you're typing, you are generally focusing on the syntax again, which is the symbolistic part of typing. So we're not typing and thinking about things at the same time like we are when we're writing. We're thinking A, B, C, D, E, F, G as we're typing it, right? So you can multitask while you're writing, whereas when you're typing, you cannot. Interesting. And one thing to leave you with, and this is very important for those who have ever been on my training, that you know this is super important. I'm going to stop right now because I am going to check in here. Hi, Sarah. Oh, I apologize, Sarah. I thought it was Tanya. Let me go back here. Don't have shelf help. Notes are great, but if you do nothing with them, they are garbage, 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 garbage. You should have a great note, and I wish I'd brought my book. I'm actually the creator of the Learning Journal, which is a specific way of taking notes. I'm going to put a link in the comments here so you can go and check it out. So it has an area for doodling, an area to be succinct with the information that you've learnt, with the topic, things like that. And more importantly, it has a box that says action. What are you going to do as a result of what you have learnt? How are you going to take action with that? What kind of impact is it going to have, right? Taking notes is great, but once you close the book, boop, and you put it on the bookcase, nothing. It is a waste of your time. There is no return on investment. So, A, make sure you schedule time in your diary to take action on what you've learned, whether that's creating a blog, sharing it with other people like we spoke about the other day. Maybe it's going back to these videos and wondering how you can retain it better. But I can help you with that. Ella@ellabates.com. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any learning questions. I hope you've learned some fabulous things from today's Daily Brain Bites, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. We are Monday to Friday, every day, Daily Brain Bites. Thanks for joining us.